Zidane, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. So, who's ready for the game? Yeah, Miraculous is getting a video game, like an actual physical video game that you can play on your consoles. That's amazing, right? Oh boy. No, it is not. Uh, I don't know if I, put in a few clips there. I probably did, but yeah, Miraculous. What are you thinking? There's a lot wrong with this upcoming game. Oh boy. So, obviously, for those of you who are unaware, Miraculous is getting a game for consoles. It's gonna, as far as I'm aware, it is going to be on every single console. It's going to be on PlayStation. It's going to be on Xbox. It's going to be on the Switch. And I think it's going to be on everything that is currently active. So the PS4 and the PS5, the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. But there are some serious problems with this game. And one of my biggest issues is just how it looks. Now, obviously, making a game have a style that just looks different, that's a thing. 2D games are still as popular as they've always been. I mean, seriously, we've talked about Stardew Valley on this channel multiple times at this point, and that did really well. It was a well-made game, a game that a lot of people really love, and it's a 2D game. Big whoop. But here's the thing. This is meant to be a game that is based off of a series. Now, obviously, that's fine. Honestly, we'll probably be seeing more of that type of thing as we continue on. But another factor is that this is as far as I'm aware, this is a completely original story for the game. Whether it's canon or not, we'll discuss that once I've actually played through the entire game. My guess is that more than likely it's kind of like what's going on with the movie, where it's canon, but it's an adult alternate universe. It is the main series is Thomas Ostruck's canon, the movie is Jeremy Zagg's canon, and then the video game is someone else's canon. Maybe it's in the Thomas Ostruck canon. That's my closest guess as to which one it's going to be canon to. It's not going to be canon to the movie. So, don't be questioning that. But it looks bad. Obviously, the thing is that when you're dealing with a video game, one of the biggest things is, especially if it's going to be it's going to be connecting to something, is that it looks like the characters. And this game does. It absolutely does. But the biggest problem is that it's so low quality. And honestly, considering the fact that this is the worst system that this is going to be on is the Switch, they probably could have just taken the models from the actual series and imported them into the game. And then, yes, absolutely, more than likely, not all of Paris is done. They probably would have had to have made some more models. But with the basis of the actual content from the main game, or from the series, it would have moved a lot quicker. Move the models over, connect them into it, make it, obviously, you're going to need to do some fine-tuning. No matter what you're doing, you're going to need some fine-tuning. But that would have been, compared to what it looks like they did, which looks like they just completely made the game completely on their own. It looks bad. I've looked at all of the images for the actual thing over on for the game on Amazon, just to get like a good reference of what it looks like, and it looks like a PS2 game, and it doesn't look like a good one. It looks like robots. It actually looks like the Robots video game, which, if you don't know, it's not a great game. It's a good game, but it's not a great game. And the main reason for that is because, well, it's a game based off of a movie. Most games based off movies are not good. In fact, like I've said in the past, there's only really two that come to mind immediately whenever I think of good movie video game. And that's Larry Boy and the Bad Apple and, I'm forgetting what, the other one, Spiderwick. That's it. Like, those are the two biggest ones. And Spiderwick has the advantage of the fact that they literally just took different pieces from both the movie and the books and just compiled it into one thing, and it's amazing. Obviously, it mostly focuses on the movie, but it does take aspects from the books, so that was fun. But with that, there come other issues. So, yeah. Obviously, things were not great, to be put bluntly. The two team, there's just a lot of issues. Like I said, Miraculous needs to should not have done what they did. The other big issue is that this game had no information on it. It still doesn't have very much information on it. Literally, all that they have right now is the trailers and the fact that it's coming out in the 25th, and stuff that they've sent off to the different companies that are going to be selling it. So GameStop, so you can look at some stuff from GameStop, Amazon, other game companies, not important. But the point with that is that with so little information, there's not enough to get hyped over. Now, obviously, it is a kid's game. It is meant to be a kid's game, so more than likely, any kid that sees, oh, Miraculous, especially if they've been, that they're fans of it, they're gonna want to get it. And more than likely, their parents will be like, okay. But then they look on the back and they're gonna be like, this looks like a PS2 game. That's uncomfortable. And then they say, sorry, kiddo, you're not gonna enjoy that. Because, let's be honest, most kids don't really care that much for... they care more about fun, colors, and stuff like that. One of the big reasons why games have become more and more popular in the recent era is because more and more kids are playing video games. Yes, we who grew up playing video games when we were kids, on the earlier consoles, so the kids who played on the PS1, the PS2, and of course, our parents who played on the Atari and stuff like that. We've all grown up with video games, and we've seen how they've grown. And the people who are going to be looking at these games, getting these games for their kids, most of them probably played on the PS2, if they played on any console, or they played on the Wii, and either way, both consoles, compared to what this is, some of their games look better. Honestly, look at, as I mentioned before, Larry Boy and the Bad Apple. That looks better than this, and I think that is a good comparison because both are CGI animated films. 3D animated CGI media. I think that is a fair comparison. And Larry Boy looks almost like an actual VeggieTales movie. Like, anything that you've seen from VeggieTales, that looks like it. But obviously a little bit lower. But Miraculous, I don't know. There's, like I said, there's a lot of problems with it, and that's the big one. And there's not enough information. The game literally was announced in September, I believe, maybe even early October. And then they announced the release date of October 25th, and I just immediately went, what? You're releasing this game that is the first real Miraculous game on all these systems, and you're releasing it looking like that? And that soon? It feels like there was a crunch that they really shouldn't have been dealing with. Like I said, there's a lot of issues that I have with this. I don't know exactly where they are, what they're thinking. My guess is that this was starting to be put together probably during 2020 at the earliest. So, yeah, there's going to be some issues with that. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, just for reference, people, Final Fantasy 16 was announced before COVID, and it's still not out yet. And that's a AAA game. And the reason that I draw that connection is because this game is $50 on Amazon. What? $50 is something that you think, oh, it's nearly AAA. It's not necessarily completely AAA, but it's good. Think on No Man's Sky. When it first came out, it was $60. That was not good. It was an indie game. It did not have, and it had a lot of glitches, a lot of problems. Obviously, huge issues. They should not have released it first that early, two, under that price tag at that point. If they were going to release it with that price tag, they should have waited a lot longer and fixed up the glitches. But they didn't. So, yeah. I think part of the problem is that more than likely the Miraculous team didn't actually know much about video games. The process of video games. And why would they? They're animators. They're not video game creators. But the team behind the video game, I'm forgetting what their name is, but they should know this. They should be able to say, sorry guys, we don't think that this is going to work. Now, my hope is that there's a good story for it. But I'm not holding my breath, especially considering the fact that it seems rushed. And, now, does that mean that I'm not going to enjoy it? I don't know. I don't know a lot of things that could be wrong with this game, but for reference, when I checked my local GameStop, which, keep in mind, this is one of the biggest GameStops in my area, which is multiple big cities are basically all around this area, and this is the biggest GameStop in those cities. Just just like I said, lots of different cities are all compiled into this little area. This is the biggest one of the area. And there were none, just absolutely no pre-orders there. I actually went to them and said, hey, do you guys have pre-orders for this game yet? The reason I asked that is because the fact that if they don't have pre-orders, that means that no one is buying this game. I can probably waltz right in there on release day, right before right as they're opening, and say, hey, I'd like Miraculous. Thank you, and walk right out, and no one is going to be rushing in to get it. Absolutely no one. And I will probably get the one copy they have. And my theory is that I could do this all the way until they close, and I would still be able to get the game. And they're not expecting to have, like, a whole bunch of copies. I've actually talked to the people there, and they have specifically told me that they don't expect a lot of copies. Maybe one or two for each console. So, and I've basically said, I don't care which console it is. It could be the PlayStation, or it could be or it could be either one of the PlayStations, or it could be the Switch. I don't care. So I will probably be able to get a copy. Even if somebody else is actually interested in this game and runs to get it immediately, yeah, I think I'm fine. Yes, maybe some people are going to be looking for it on Amazon, and yeah. But the thing is, like I said, there's no information on this. The Miraculous creators have not been publicly talking about it. They've mentioned it. They've mentioned it on some of their social medias. I think Zag mentioned it, Ostruck mentioned it, but it's like maybe retweeting the posts from the Miraculous, the team working on the game. And most of the information that I'm getting from this game are fan accounts. So, yeah. And another factor with that is that other creators, other Miraculous YouTubers, like Chikai, obviously Miss Burb isn't talking about it, but she hasn't been posting for a while, so, but Chikai isn't talking about it, There's a few other Miraculous YouTubers. I've checked them. No one's talking about this game. In fact, I'm probably one of the few YouTubers who's actually talking about this game, and that's a problem. No one has talked about this game. No one has mentioned this game. No one has been like, yes, I got a version. I got this game really early. Obviously, they're not supposed to talk about it if they actually got it, but by this point, they would at least be talking that, hey, I've got a demo, I've got a review coming out, I've actually played the game, something like that. Because here's another factor. By this point, Miraculous YouTubers should be getting the game. And I'm serious about this. The biggest Miraculous YouTubers that you can find, you should have sent this game to them ASAP. They should have been getting this game and they should have been talking about it. Same thing goes for every other gaming channel. HMK got, and I think pretty much all of the Keykeepers got early versions of of Kingdom Hearts. They may not have gotten the actual game, but they were invited to demos. I think some of them actually got early copies. Big Pokemon YouTubers get the games early so that they can review them. Canadian Guy A has gotten every single Spyro and Crash Bandicoot game probably months in advance. Granted, he has a very good connection with Toys for Bob and the other companies in Activision, so understandably he's going to know who they are. He's going to be able to talk to them and actually get the games early. But the thing is that that's because he's been doing this for years, and he's been getting the games for years. They didn't do that for Miraculous. No Miraculous YouTubers. And the reason I specifically say that is because no one has gone on silence at this point in time. No one has been like, here's the thing. You don't have to, you can disclose that that you got a demo early for these things. Very rarely are you not even allowed to admit that you got that before you got it. Or before you, actually reviewed it. And I don't know, it's weird. It is very, very weird, especially considering the fact that Miraculous is a big company, or it's a big brand, especially for a small animation studio. It's odd. It is very, very weird to me that no one is talking about it. I don't know. Hopefully there will be some from what I've said, as well as what they're going to learn from this, which, let me be clear, they are going to learn a lot from this whole situation. Once the game releases, it is going to flop. And I'm hoping that they take that information to heart and they learn from their mistakes that they made in this and work to improve it. Speak with the game developers a bit more. Figure out what they needed to actually be able to make this game the way that you wanted it to be made. Speak to the voice actors. Speak to the gamers who actually play this. I'm going to make a honest review. I'm not going to make it a show it some love. I'm going to specifically call it an honest review of the game once I have completed it. I'm going to also do my first thoughts on the game. Once I have done both of those, I want the Miraculous team to watch my videos and understand my points. Because otherwise, if this game this game is going to flop, period. Once it flops, take the lessons that you learn from this and make the next game better. Use the information to make your game better. We do not need to see more of Rise of the Sphinx, but use the information that you learn from this game and improve. That is all I ask of the Miraculous team. Because, honestly, it's gonna flop. It is going to flop. I don't care if people think, oh no, there's no way it's gonna flop. It is, trust me when I say, it is going to flop. And when it does, look to the people who are actually being honest and giving you important information. The biggest thing that you can do is make sure that you do listen to the people who are trying to help. Period. And once you have learned from that information, you've spoken with these people, learn from your mistakes and improve. And another factor, don't do this again where it's literally a month before its release. And another thing, don't release right around the same time that literally every other company is releasing a game. Seriously. When you're dealing with something like this that is going to be, that you do not know if it's going to succeed or it's going to fail, do not release it during the time when the biggest names in gaming history are releasing their games. Seriously, Pokemon and Sonic are both releasing literally just a few days. Well, Sonic is releasing a few days after this, like a little bit more than a week, and obviously Pokemon is releasing in less than a month. With both of these two massive games are coming out literally right around the corner from your game. What game are people going to be going to? The game that is new and it's miraculous and all of this stuff, and it's a game meant for kids that looks like shit, or are they going to go for the safe option, the first open world Sonic, the first fully open world Pokemon game? What are people going to go to? I know what I would go for if I didn't have enough money to pay for all of them. It would be either Sonic or Pokemon. And that's another factor. I'm getting 4 different games over these next 4 weeks. Each one is releasing one after another. Pokemon, Sonic, Harvestella, and Pokemon. I don't know what I said. I think I said but the point is, you get my idea. Sonic, Pokemon, Harvestella, and Miraculous all coming out literally week after week. You weren't thinking. Reorganize your schedule. Make sure that next time you do things properly and learn from your mistakes. And I will try to make some honest reviews for this game. I am going to be making some videos for Sonic as well as for Pokemon. So my first thoughts are going to be coming out basically right after I get the game. But everything else is probably going to be a little bit more time. Hopefully, I can make these videos well, and we'll be able to talk about them properly. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!